Hey, this is Keith Weinhold from the Get Rich Education Podcast. You are listening to my friend John Larson in the Real Estate Cowboys. Don't quit your daydream.
Hey everybody, it's Robert Helms, host of the Real Estate Guys radio show, and you are listening to the Real Estate Cowboys.
Have you thought about becoming financially free through real estate investing, but don't have the time or knowledge to get started? Welcome to the Real Estate Cowboys podcast. Each week, we discuss passive income investment opportunities in the red-hot Texas market. John Larson and the Real Estate Cowboys will show you how to leverage their team to build wealth in real estate through passive investment opportunities. And now, here's John.
Hello, everyone. We are back with another episode of the Real Estate Cowboys podcast. This is your host, John Larson. This week, I want to discuss your investment philosophy or your investment plan with your goals and how to match that up. I think that that's very important. I think too often people fail to make investment decisions with their personal goals in mind. You know, many people use a financial planner, and they're going to ask you some questions during your first interview about your financial goals, and then from there, that determines your risk tolerance. And this process, determines what investment vehicles your financial planner recommends for you to invest in. But really, there's a problem with that. And the first problem is that the financial planner has their own interests in mind as well as yours because they make commissions. Sure, they want you to make money, but your needs aren't their only consideration. Before you sit down with your financial planner, try matching your investments with your goals by going through the following. This puts you in a better position to have those important conversations with your financial planner, right? If you take the investment opportunities that are available to you and you match them up with your goals, then you will find yourself putting yourself in better situations, better investment situations, okay? Your investments always need to be in line with what your goals are, right? Is your goal to retire early? Is your goal to supplement income or replace income? Is your goal to make it so your wife can stay at home with the kids, right? Is your goal to be able to pay for your children's tuition? Is your goal to buy a boat in a few years and you're going to use your investments to build up cash flow to where then you can purchase a boat? Whatever it may be, okay? We need to make sure that we're aligning the investment opportunities that are available to you with your goals, okay? And we say it all the time with our private lending opportunity. If your goal is primarily just cash flow and a very passive experience, then private lending is right for you. If your goal is tax benefits, write-offs, if your goal is to see equity grow through appreciation, then maybe buying single-family homes is better for you. But you have to understand that single-family homes are going to be a little less passive than a private lending opportunity. So it's all about how much time do I have available to deal with these investments? Is it worth some of the headaches that can pop up with owning single-family properties? Weigh those options out. The number one thing that you want to do is you want to build an emergency fund, okay? Your immediate financial security should always come first. Before you invest, make sure you have most people say 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved up. And then as your living expenses increase over time, be sure to keep adding to that emergency fund as necessary, okay? The fund should be kept in a fairly liquid form to be liquefied within hours. It's used for last minute emergencies, so you don't want to have to wait too long to access. I say all the time, don't invest money that you can't risk losing. Don't invest so much that it keeps you up at night. There's risk with all investments. Some investments are a little less risky than others, but you got to make sure that you don't overdo it. You don't want to lose sleep over your investments, okay? The next thing is to determine your financial goals. Financial goals are typically going to be different than your personal goals, and because of that, they should be considered separate. Financial goals should include things like saving a certain amount of money for retirement, paying for your child's wedding one day, saving for a down payment on a home, or earning more salary at your job, a higher salary. You want to try and be as specific as possible when laying out financial goals. Instead of saying save money for a down payment, say save $20,000 for a down payment, right? Put an actual number, a figure on that. This is going to give you a more defined target and allows you to know exactly when you've achieved that goal. Okay? If you don't do this, your financial goals will be too vague to grasp. Your financial goals definitely help you determine the trajectory of your investment. The other determining factor of the trajectory is represented by your personal goals. Okay, so some examples of some personal goals, and these are going to be more subjective. They don't have to be as specific, but they should definitely be realistic. Personal goals should be something like be financially independent, acquire income through passive means, retire early, work from home. Okay. So now what you want to do is you want to review your personal goals from time to time. Over the years, your personal goals will grow and change, so you want to update your list. Now you want to start assigning figures to your personal goals. As best you can, you need to try and assign a dollar amount to your personal goals. How much would you need to be financially independent? Exactly how much of your income would you like to be made through passive means? So this is a couple things to start with, but you definitely want to start putting a figure on this. How much net worth would you be comfortable with to retire early? And these are going to be guesstimates, but that's fine. And you can adjust them as you need, but it's very important to put a dollar amount on some of these things so you have a benchmark to work towards. If we just say, oh, I want to be financially independent, but we have no idea how much money we need to make in order to feel financially independent or be financially independent, then, it's going to be tough to achieve that goal. It's just too vague. The next thing you want to do is align trajectories. Okay, you want to align the trajectory of your financial goals with the trajectory of your personal goals to create a useful visual aid. This way you can see exactly what you need financially in order to achieve what you want personally. And so keep this visual aid handy so you can refer to it from time to time or make adjustments as needed. Definitely evaluate investment opportunities. You want to evaluate all investment opportunities that are available to you, given the parameters of your existing financial situation. In other words, you have a limited amount of money to invest. What investment options are available at that level? Okay, like with our private lending opportunities, you need to be an accredited investor, and you also need at least $50,000 to become a private lender in one of our projects. Most people come in at around $100,000, but $50,000 is the minimum. So you need that $50,000 in order to play in the private lending game. Okay, if you only have $30,000, well then maybe let's start getting your feet wet with some single family homes, or, maybe you can loan that $30,000 in a deal where you don't have to be accredited. Okay. If you still want to kind of do the private lending opportunities, you could file a Reg A. We do Reg Ds, but Reg As, you could have anyone. You don't have to be accredited with a Reg A. So look for those opportunities. If you still want the passivity of private lending, right? And you don't want some of the headaches that come with owning single family homes, or maybe it's just not the right time to buy single family homes. Like in the Dallas market, for example, prices have gone up drastically and property taxes have always been pretty high here. But with the prices going up, it's causing the property taxes to go up as well. And you can only rent these houses for so much in some of these neighborhoods, And so that's really choked out the cap rate, where investors at this point aren't even really investing in single family homes for cash flow. They're more so doing it for the tax benefits that are available and, the opportunity to still buy low in a market that's booming because you believe that there's opportunity for you to see appreciation with that property, equity growth, right? Which you can then cash in, or you could refinance and take that money and roll it into the purchase of another home, and you don't have to pay taxes on that, right? If you roll it into another investment. So you do a cash out refi and roll that money into something else, you're not going to have to pay capital gains taxes on that money. You also want to make sure you know the time of returns on investments, okay? Because these can definitely vary. With equity syndications, typically you're not going to see your return for a year, 2 or 3 years, sometimes even longer, okay? But there's a lot of tax benefits with with equity syndications as well, because at that point you're pretty much an owner of the project, and so you're taking advantage of depreciation, you're taking advantage of maintenance and rehab and things of that nature. So when you're coming in on the equity side, you can capture those tax savings, but you're not going to see immediate returns on your money or fixed returns on your money like you would with a debt syndication. Like I said, each investment's going to provide a little bit of maybe a different time frame on when you can expect to see returns. With the private lending program, you get monthly payouts right after we close on the project. Your money that was sitting in escrow is accruing interest, and then you'll start receiving your monthly dividends after close. So you're getting those returns immediately. With single family rentals, obviously you're also going to get a monthly rent check that's distributed to you. So from the time you identify a property, you go through the closing process, 30, 45 days, whatever it may be, you're going to start seeing returns almost immediately. Okay. But like I said, with an equity syndication, you're not going to see returns immediately. They're going to be possibly a year or more down the line. But, just make sure you understand these time frames. Okay. With residual income investments, your returns will come in inconsistently, but they have greater potential to increase in amounts over time, right? We talk about residual income opportunities on the show as well. These require a little bit of time and effort and work. It's not really passive income because you're working towards getting this money in. But once you lay the foundation, residual income is great because you're getting money each month that's sent to you, right? So you might have to put in a little bit of work and time and effort in the beginning to build this residual income stream that could last for the rest of your life. And another important thing would be to assess your tolerance for risk, okay? Everyone has a different risk profile. How much risk can you tolerate and still have time in life to recover from losses? That's important. This has to do with your age. If you're in your early 30s, you still have plenty of years to recoup losses from your investments. So maybe you might be willing to take a little bit more risk on an investment. But if you're in your mid 60s and you're retired or just about to retire, you only have a few working years left to overcome any disastrous investments before it's time to retire, okay? So with that, you want to really position your money in investments that are going to be, I would say less risky, okay? Which is why a lot of, I feel like elderly people, in their 60s, 50s, 60s, whatever it may be, like our private lending model, because one, they self-direct their retirement accounts and loan from that. So then those payments are going back to them tax-free or tax-deferred. But they also feel like the risk profile on a private lending deal isn't as high as it would be on, maybe some of these equity deals where it's not guaranteed income, or, with single family homes where obviously you never know what could happen. Large repairs could pop up, whatever it may be. Tenant can move out, trash the house gets broken into. It takes a while to get a new tenant in, so you're kind of bleeding at that point. Pay attention to that. You definitely want to make sure, depending on what age group you're in and how many working years left in you have, you might want to adjust your risk profile and adjust the type of investments that you're putting your money into, right? The second part of a risk tolerance assessment has to do with your personality. How comfortable are you with having your money in certain places? Are you comfortable being a landlord with a property manager in place to handle these day to day? Are you someone that manages these properties yourself, right? Like, that's not necessarily going to be passive at all if you're doing the management yourself. Even when you do outsource it to a management company, single family homes aren't the most passive investment opportunity available to you, although people love to run around and say that they're passive. In my experience, they're really anything but passive because things can go wrong. Okay, it's not just like you're collecting a monthly dividend by being a lender. In those circumstances, we rarely talk to our investors. We provide updates on the projects. They speak with my accountant maybe once a month when my accountant sends them a statement or emails them to let them know that their payment has been sent. That's about the only interaction you're going to have with us, though, until it's time to pay your money back. And then, you'll have the opportunity to potentially roll that money into another private lending opportunity and keep it working for you, or pull that money out. That's really the only communication that you're going to have with us, which makes it very, very passive. You got to ask yourself too, are you comfortable holding stocks, or does it make you feel a little nervous about how volatile the stock market can be and has been? You don't want to lose sleep over your investment decisions, like I said. You want your investments to help you sleep more soundly, really. Because you go to bed at night knowing that your money's working for you. But, think about how you feel about your investments and how much risk you can safely assume. That's very, very important. And now you all know the more risk usually associated with an investment is going to yield higher returns, right? That's just the way things work. Exploratory oil and gas opportunities pay large returns, but I just used the word exploratory. They have not found oil yet, right? They believe from a geologist or whatever it is, from research, that there could be oil there, but it's no guarantee. So you could potentially lose that money. Now, it's a tax write-off, right? But you're losing that money, okay? But they're promising the investors very, very high returns, but obviously it comes with much more risk. So you definitely want to use these tips to match your investments, traditional investments, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, annuities, things of that nature, life insurance policies, whatever it may be, because they're paid on that. Not saying discount anything that your financial planner is going to say to you or advise you on, but just know in the back of your mind that there is some benefit to them navigating you and your money back into, what we would like to say Wall Street investments, right? Myself and the real estate guys, if you listen to their podcasts, and Keith Weinhold of Get Rich Education, we all talk about taking money from Wall Street and bringing it Main Street. And that means finding good team members and guys out there, guys, gals, that have good opportunities on the real estate side. Because once again, real estate never goes to zero, okay? And honestly, I believe that your money is much better protected in a real estate deal and an asset, and even an asset that's cash flowing, okay? There's all the time on the private lending opportunities that, you always got to think who has the least opportunities that, you always got to think who has the least amount of risk in any deal. And it's the bank for sure, because they hold lien on the property. And so on cash flowing real estate, right? An office building that's cash flowing, because they're thinking to themselves, okay, landlord, you want a default owner, we're going to take back a building that's completely, it's cash flowing, it's making money, and we're going to repossess that, right? We're going to foreclose on it. You as the private lender, you take that same role, so that's a way to minimize risk in the investment. And then when you plant an office building in a market like DFW, where there's 150,000 people moving here a year, and it's home to the most corporate headquarters in America, you'd think to yourself, wow, this would also limit my risk a little bit, because I'm loaning on an asset, a physical asset that's never going to go to zero in a market that's growing exponentially year over year, and is already home to the most corporate headquarters, and is a super business friendly state and city. Okay. So you should feel pretty good that we should be able to keep that property occupied, fully occupied, and cash flowing, right? So if everything did go to hell in a handbasket and we're not able to deliver on the investment, you foreclose on it. You take it, right? So like I said, think about these different risk profiles. Find the investments, identify investments that are going to be better for you based on your personal and financial goals, okay? And those are the ones that you go for. Those are the ones that you pounce on. And be ready to take action when a good deal does come across your desk or come across your email, right? Because you don't want to miss out on some of these opportunities, So make sure you're prepared. Make sure you have an emergency fund of money saved up. Make sure you have some liquid capital that you're ready to deploy. Because like I said, and I have said, investors take action. Investors are ready to move. Good deal across my desk. I'm putting an earnest money deposit down. I'm signing that contract immediately. And then I'm using my inspection period to gather the rest of the data that I need. In a hot market out here in DFW, I don't have time to ask for all the due diligence and sit there with my team and look over all the due diligence, because by that time, the property's already under contract and it's gone. I can look at a deal very quick and what is the purchase price? Are these triple net leases? Is there a common area maintenance built into leases? Are these just gross leases? What are they? I can look at that very quickly, and I can make a decision within minutes on whether I want to lock this property up or not. And then, like I said, use my week, 10-day due diligence period, whatever it may be, to start gathering the rest of the information that I need. And if I can't get that information in that time frame, then something's up. I'm either filing an extension for my inspection period, or I'm just saying, hey, look, we're going to cancel the deal. I'm in my option period. Give me my earnest money back. But, as an investor, be prepared to move quickly on a good opportunity. Okay. So that's my advice this week. Thanks for tuning. Just wanted to touch on some things that I believe are very, very important for my listeners. And that's definitely, like I said, making sure that your goals are aligned with your investments. So if you found this information, educational, like I said, you could go to realestatecowboysdfw.com. All of our past episodes are housed there, or you can subscribe to us on iTunes and all the other podcast outlets that are out there. We're on everything. And you can be updated every time a new podcast comes out, which is typically every Sunday. Go to Amazon. I have a book, The Passive Income Guide, What's Your Return on Life, by John Larson. Forward written by Keith Weinhold and John Larson. foreword written by Keith Weinhold, The Get Rich Education. It's a very good book. Very quick, easy read, but there's packed with information. It can give you a good grasp on how passive income works, how, what passive income options are available with real estate. So go ahead and, you can download the ebook for a very affordable price, or purchase the paperback book, have it sent to you. So that's a really, really good read. Or just go to our websites, realestatecowboysdfw.com or areiusa.com. We have all of our past blogs. Great information. All of our past blogs. Great information on there as well. And when you're ready to take action, put in your information. A member of our team will reach out and let you know the investment opportunities that are available to you at this time. But in the meantime, this is all we have for this week. I hope everyone has a great week and is ready to take action and start, working their ways towards financial freedom. And we'll be back next week with another great episode of the Real Estate Cowboys podcast. In the meantime, always remember, what's your return on life? This is your host, John Larson, signing off. See you next week.
All opinions expressed by the hosts of the show are the opinions of American Real Estate Investments, LLC, and do not reflect the opinions of guests or sponsors. No personal or professional advice heard on this program should be considered an endorsement to follow a real estate financing or investment strategy. Before acting on any information, seek advice from your financial, tax, mortgage, or real estate advisor, as the information is not guaranteed and investment strategies have the potential for profit or loss.